up a little bit. We've got Shoot to Kill, a team that we've been talking about a lot at the early part of the day. They're coming 7th 2 times in a row. But also Brazilian Crusaders. You guys have my heart, but 2 games in a row. First team eliminated. We need to see some life from them.
I mean, I would love to see some life out of them. You know, they made a great adjustment going to Chumacera, a nice open location to go to. They won't have that available when they face OMG and the next time they see each other. But, you know, for now, it's a fine thing to do here today. And once again, we're seeing Team Liquid, you know, just going Picado. MP5 Spartan drops that warehouse down there. But, oh, Jempty.
Oh, Spartan, you're in some trouble, man.
Jempty cut him off this time. I think this is a nice little cheeky play here from Jempty to keep MP5 away from that loot location.
All right, Abisa, what do you got? You can see trying to go for a position on it. Spartan really nowhere else that he can go, so he's just forced to run right into Picado. I think he's trying to make his way over to this vehicle. It's going to be a factor. Can Team Liquid get any guns to take any shots at him? And you can see Jempty got himself some long-range iron sight, Car 98. It seemed maybe just a dream. You never know. Might be able to get it.
No reason not to. They might as well go for it. I mean, it's so early, it doesn't matter.
Wait. We're not in the Northeast. What's happening? Wait. I'm confused. All right, so it looks like we've got a circle that's going to be just a little bit north of center.
Yeah, so, you know, once again, nobody's going on the northern end. Nobody's even in El Pozo or La Cobreria, so there's so much room at the north end of this circle. And on this side of the circle, the north end has a lot more cover and other things to work with, so I'm curious to see how this will pan out.
So we've got a couple of shots going back and forth between Airwolf, and we also have Cloud9's Nerf on the other side of this. It's kind of a separated little skirmish that's going on. Kind of an interesting situation, as Airwolf has 3 members that are all the way down south of this, and just to the north of it, it's going to be Cloud9, so should be able to come in and provide a little bit of assistance. So RDK, I don't know what you're working with up here, but you're going to have a little bit of trouble if you stay for too much longer. He's actually choosing to press forward into this, so Nerf, he doesn't really want to go for the kill. He's just biding his time, just trying to get enough attention to get the rest of the members from Cloud9 to provide some form of assistance.
Yeah, it just seems like Cloud9 can't catch a break early on in these games. There's always somebody just kind of messing with them a little bit, and this time it's the Aerowolves. But they've got the circle. Nerf just needs to stay safe here. He can't be really risking too much damage. He's in a bit of a fight with RDK. We'll see how this pans out. Other members of Cloud9 are rotating in to help.
But look, we also do have Airwolf that's also making their way over here as well. It's going to be a grenade going through RDK. I think he might be in a safe spot. Grenade's going to get a little bit of damage off onto him. Both teams trying to regroup, and actually Aerowolf, I think, is full committing to this. They're either going to come by and try to pick him up, or they're just going to go in position to try to get the kill off of this Cloud9. It seems like they have faith in what's going on over here, and they're just kind of letting him be, as Duckman's going to go ahead and pick up the flush and the kill onto Fong there.
Yeah, this Duckman's, he's been having a good day today. I believe that's his 4th kill overall. I don't think he got any kills in round number 3, but yeah, okay, K-Mine's up on the hill looking to protect Nerf from the approaching members of Aerowolf. They're aggressively rotating in here. Nerf is pretty much on an island. I don't know what's going to happen there.
So we've got K-Mine that's providing some cover up towards the top. Keep in mind, this is not inside the new safe zone, so everybody has to be very cautious about how much time they commit into this. So Airwolf's in the spot over here. Got a K-Mine providing him a little bit. Forever actually walks back over and sees Miss You, goes ahead and gets the down and the flush onto that. A lot of little skirmishes that are happening through and through as Icky throws down some smokes. Are they going to commit to this? They have to be careful. Again, blue zone is going to be coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've got to either just flush Nerf out right away. They've got a 4v1 advantage, and they kind of have to know that. They have to know that there's no other members of C9 close enough unless they give them the time to rotate, and K-Mine getting in this vehicle to try to get down there.
Is he going to actually commit to going down there, or is he just moving into another high ground position? Finally, we see Cloud9. They've all regrouped. Looks like they're going to commit to trying to defend Nerf, not going to leave him all by his lonesome. Nerf is having to defend this angle, and you can see he's got near on nowhere he can go. He goes down inside of the exchange, but it's after Cloud9 makes the commitment to rotate down through here. Loeb's in no position to where he can provide any form of cover. Profi's right down and now in the exact same spot that Nerf is in.
Yeah, I feel like this was a bit of a late rotation by both of these teams. C9 should have really aggressively gone after that situation when they knew that it was just a 1v1 with Nerf and RDK, because they know that the rest of the members have to come to them of the Aerowolves. Monkey King trying to get some shots though on Armory, nothing quite doing there. 17 a team we're going to be keeping our eyes on very closely. They've had 2 top 5 finishes today. You know, can they close out the deal in game 3?
So now comes the question, What do you do and how do you disengage from this fight as Cloud9 has moved themselves into a position where they have 3 different firing angles, and I think that Airwolves looks like they're just wanting to go ahead and get out of this. They're just going to try to retreat back out in a way, and that might be the moment that Cloud9 opts into going for like a sneaky little just trap and just spring it on them. But I'm kind of curious. There we go. We've got RDK that's positioned over here. Shots are now starting to come through, connecting over onto it. RDK has near on no life. If he connects with anything, it's going to take him down. So that's going to be RDK getting taken down. Now here comes the rest of the trap as it's going to be a long nade just thrown over the top of the building coming out from Profi. Doesn't look like it connects with anything. Going to see if he can maybe line up another one. Everybody from Airwolves is slowly just getting pinched back down into this. Nice throw coming through that time as Profi gets the down onto it. Sure, they might have taken down Nerf, but 2 members now down and out. Another follow-up grenade are going to land right up on top of him, and that's going to be a nice flush onto it. Meanwhile, Taro on the other side of the map taking some shots over at MP5.
Yeah, absolutely. NV trying to knock out these last 2 members of NB5. MP5 suffered some damage early on. We're moving back over here with C9. Profi has the right flank. K-Mine has the hill, and Lobes has the hill across the way. This is a desperate situation for the Airwolves. Their indecision, I think, cost them a little bit here. I think they could have flushed Nerf out quicker, gotten it out of the situation if that's what they wanted to do. But wise decisions here from C9 to be patient and wait for the members of the Airwolves to get into their vehicles before they spring their trap. And Profi here just trying to find an angle. Airwolves are being as safe as they can, but eventually one of these teams is going to have to go for something here.
Nerf bought so much time for Cloud9. He was so defended. Almost felt like Cloud9 was like, no, we trust you to handle this by yourself. Finally, he did go down inside of exchanges, just the numbers were just too much for him to handle. But with this, now Airwolves has to figure out what they're going to do about this. Team Liquid, on the other hand, looking back over towards a Freak of Freaks Fatal on the other side of the road there as they're trying to regroup. And poor Armory Gaming, they just keep having everybody mess with them in the early games as well. Way off in the distance, you can see it's going to be one of them coming down the hillside there. So here we go. It's going to be Crystal Luster. It's already making their rotation as well. Actually moving just way up towards the north and going to be bumping into HQ if they're not careful. And okay, Jimty, I see you. That's some nice shots. Real long range. Going to go ahead and take down Duckmans.
Wow, those are some incredible shots there from Jemty with the Mini 14, and the most important member for AG goes down here, Duckmans. A tough loss for them once again in the early game. They just keep finding teams and finding fights early on. Now we're getting some fighting going on between a Freak of Freaks Fatal and Team Liquid, but it doesn't look like much damage was done.
Brazilian Crusaders now making their way inside the safe zone. Actually going to move out and away from the Murado. Haven't had any casualties come their way yet, and pretty safe spot, all things considered. But again, Cloud9, Airwolves is still back and forth with each other back down towards just outside the safe zone. So Lobes looks like he's going to go for a reposition. Airwolves, I don't know what they have planned at this point. They're just like, all right, we're just going to stay here and hopefully they'll just get bored and leave.
Yeah, that's what you want, but I don't think C9 is going to get bored. We saw them be very patient with Armory Gaming last round when they played the leapfrog, but now Lobes is just trying to keep them pinned inside, not let them out, because eventually, Airwolves has to leave the building, and C9 has a bigger advantage here. They've already moved up on them. Profi trying to be quiet here, being crouched, it makes your quiet, makes your footsteps a lot quieter.
Sneaky Ninja Profi trying to sneak up, seeing if anybody's going to try to go for any vehicles. He still does have 1 grenade left. Trying to see if maybe somebody goes from the peak. Keep in mind, Lobes was back behind him taking those peekaboo shots back over at Icky a second ago, and that might have fed the information over, but here comes the blue wall. Keep in mind, early game, nothing to be too scared about, so they should all have plenty of tools to work with, except for Profi, who really only has some bandages. So hoping maybe some meds are on at least a couple of members of Airwolves here.
Yeah, we'll see how that fight goes down. I mean, it might just be a waiting game here. We're looking up over at Envy, who is getting in their vehicles and making their rotation. They were down south of Power Grid. They're making their way north now. As the circle does rotate center north here, it's got some of Cobreria in it. CL making, I think, a very, very smart rotation here around the north end of the map, where if you've been watching these games, there hasn't been many teams on the north end, so there's a lot of room to maneuver up there.
I'm kind of curious on how a lot of these teams that are just south of the circle are going to kind of move around. You can see Incognito's just dropped out of their vehicles, going to take a couple of shots. A Freak of Freaks as well as AG are kind of forced up next to each other, because remember, Team Liquid was not relenting and forcing them to kind of connect. DMG is just kind of up here hanging out. Meanwhile, we've got Envy that's going to be rotating right next to Waikikamukow, who looks like was going to be posted up as their defenders. And still Cloud9 just back down over there, taking a couple of shots back and forth with Airwolves. No rush onto it. Waikikamukow decides to take a couple of shots back over at Patcaps. Now information's going to get fed over to the rest of the members of Envy. And look, none of them actually stopping to help Patcaps out.
Yeah, PatCaps took quite a bit of damage here. Okay, C9 does end up finishing off the Airwolves. They will be our first team eliminated here in game number 3. Style up on the hill looking down at Armory Gaming. Profi now going in to loot the dead bodies of the Airwolves. PatCaps has gotten his health back up. Waikikimukau not able to land some of those SLR shots. Looks like Waikikimukau has decided, okay, I might have overstayed my welcome here. Time to get out and join the rest of my team.
Oh, okay, there you go. You can see Envy was like, you want to take some shots at us? This is the price you pay. So Waikikimukau apparently kicked a hornet's nest whenever he took a couple of shots over at Envy. They decided to go after it. Cloud9 does manage to take down all of Airwolves over there, so should be able to get the utility based off that. Keep in mind, they had to pull off of doing a lot of their looting, so they needed to get the flushes and the downs onto those members. Otherwise, they would have moved in with nothing for the mid game.
Yeah, exactly correct. And it looks like the other members of Incognito trying to get some revenge for Waikikimukau. What a shot from PatCaps with that Car 98. That is absolutely insane. Joxy getting some nice damage done himself. Venerated is able to lay down here, so no longer does he have the shot.
Incognito, you tried this a second ago, and it didn't necessarily turn out in your favor. So looks like they've got their last 2 members regrouped next to each other, trying to figure out how they're going to do something with this. So Venerated right back on the edge of it. MP5, a long rotation way over towards the east. Cloud9's K-Mind tailing back behind the other members of Cloud9. Looks like they're just going to try to cut up. Maybe, I don't think that they're any rush, so they can probably just stop along the edge somewhere. But really, the center of the map is pretty congested at this point.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of teams that have taken up central locations here. On the edge here, you have C9 moving in, MP5 on the right side, OP Gaming Rangers coming up through the north edge. I think another really smart rotation there. Team Liquid with another very smart rotation as well, as they went way to the west side and into the north up near the crater fields there. So I think that was a wise decision. A Freak of Freaks Fatal just playing a bit of a dancing game here with Armory Gaming. CL looking down at AHQ up on the north side here. Not much going on so far there.
Brazilian Crusaders right along the edge of the circle, nothing to be too concerned with as they just take a couple of pot shots. But I just wanted to chime in with that fight that we keep seeing from a Freak of Freaks and Armory Gaming. Remember, that's a continuation of control from Team Liquid very early. Taking out their vehicles, taking out their tires, really forcing the guys to have to walk next to each other. And when you have to walk around Miramar, you now see how terrible it can end up for you, especially if it's 2 teams that have all utility taken away from their rotation. So Onboy is going to go ahead and have a grenade just drop down at his head. Going to roll a little bit too far away, so he's just going to watch it roll in the distance like, you didn't get me.
Yeah, Han Boya gets knocked down there for Armory Gaming. That grenade just doesn't quite get in the door of the building general. And the other members of AG here trying to safely get out. They're down to 2. A Freak of Freaks Fatal smelling a little bit of blood here. Style landing a little bit of damage. Shadow does confirm the kill onto Han Boya. Looks like he's trying to get into those windows with the SLR, just trying to keep them pinned. Doesn't want to let them get out of here. A Freak of Freaks Fatal wants these points.
Well, I think to note, again, we're in one of those situations where the blue's going to be coming. These guys have about 600-700 meters that they have to walk to get into the safe zone. You don't really want to spend too much time caught up in a fight like this, but smack dab over towards the center, you can see we've got a lot of teams that you should be getting familiar with. We've got 4 Angry Men, 17 Shoot to Kill, AHQ all post up, as well as Crystal, gosh, I had it and then I lost it.
Crystal Luster.
Crystal Luster. I don't know why it's Crystal. The Luster is what throws me every single time.
I have a tough time with Tongguo. That one is like, it's like, because I know a little bit of like Chinese pronunciation, but I don't know enough, so I just want to call this guy Tong because that is such a mouthful to come out of my mouth. But Crystal Luster, this is an interesting team. They're very passive. They're the most passive team from China that's here, I feel. And now they've done another 2-2 split here. They find ways to come into the circles late and just kind of set up and try to make it to the late game. I think kind of similar to how OP Gaming Rangers approach the game.
While we were watching that, you can see Abisa manage to run over there, get himself a nice little toy as he made his push over towards the crate that had dropped. He did lose the tires on his vehicle, as you can see it sitting back behind him, so now going to have to use a little bit of utility with the smokes to make the run back down to some form of cover. But Team Liquid running a very interesting split all across this part of the map right now. Really no fear coming out from them, but they've got Cloud9 that could approach back from behind them.
Yeah, look, Biza's coming down the hill here. A few shots coming his way, but he's able to safely make it down there and will be able to kind of lead the way for his team here. Now, the real question is they saw Ibiza come. Will anybody try to pick off the other members of Team Liquid? Now, you've got Jeems way up there, up on the north end of the circle as well. So Team Liquid really trying to cover some real estate here to prevent anybody from coming in around behind them. I think they have a pretty good idea that C9's back there, and they want to make sure that there's no safe way for C9 to really get through them.
Where we see Jimpty and it's empty at, just to the east of Crater Fields, along that kind of wall that the hillside makes, is such a power point. And luckily, they are going to get a little bit of information, see Cloud9 back behind them, take a couple of pot shots back over at them, and that is another tasty little crate that we have that's been dropped right there. Go ahead and get an extended quick draw mag as well as an AWM. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. Please get that. We missed the AWM last game. That crater, at least I never saw anyone use it. Maybe I missed it, but it would be nice to see that. I love seeing that gun come into play. Oh,
Incognito, this is just not your game. Everywhere you go, there is just somebody waiting. Grenade's going to go ahead and get tossed over one side. We did see Ronan, his teammate, way off in the distance over there, has kind of been forced to huddle back behind his vehicle outside and in the blue, but going to walk up, go ahead and get the flush onto that, and there we go. Juxie is now down and out.
Yeah, Ents here over on the southeastern part of the circle, taking a few shots onto Envy, but those are some pretty long-range shots here. They're just kind of trying to see if they can get a little damage here or there, and then they'll be able to pretty much probably safely rotate in the circle. They don't really have anyone that looks like they're too interested in going there, except, of course, maybe Incognito.
Oh, you can see a Freak of Freaks taking a couple of shots back up this hillside as the Crusaders were trying to crusade their way over towards the safe zone. Again, we see a Freak of Freaks on foot having to slowly walk themselves to the safe zone. They managed to get there. They take a little bit of a break, catch their breath, and have to start running after the next one. But Crusaders, no real rush. They've just got the hillside that they can play along that we saw that was Team Liquid playing around a little bit earlier. Again, you can see the beautiful sight lines that you can get and collect so much information. I think they've decided to stop for just a second and let Rusty go ahead and get his meds back up before continuing the push. And oh no, Crusaders, that's not what you want to push down into that. So we got the OP Rangers looking back over towards Envy as well.
Yeah, the OP Rangers up on the hill here above Envy. They might opt to try to push this position or at least see if they can get a little bit of damage. They want to keep Envy at bay. Now, they got to be careful because MP5 will have sight lines on there as they're peeking over that hill. Some grenades coming in as the Crusaders are pushing in on this compound that CL has. CL only has 2 here. They opted for a 2-2 split. This is the danger of a 2-2 split.
It's just multiple fights happening on different parts of the map. Grenade's going to end up catching that top part of the wall coming up from Crystal Luster. So Crusaders, if you heard me say, oh no, you can see the amount of teams that were around them where they decided to just drive down right into the middle of this. Shock's actually running from 17, a little bit separated out from the rest of his team, surrounding 4AM, capable of taking some pot shots. On the other side, it has a nice grenade coming out. Going to go ahead and down 1 FPS.
Yeah, Tong with a nice grenade there. FPS is going to be forced outside to try to recover from this. More grenades coming in, and oh my goodness, nice grenade here from the members of CL. They've already got a kill and a knock onto the Crusaders despite being outnumbered 2-4. Oh, is Aizhao going to get knocked? He does. Nice grenade there from Rogi.
So many grenades that are just crashing down around these two teams. But look, speaking of crashes, look at this. We got 4AM and a Freak of Freaks taking a couple of pot shots back and forth at each other. Indian's holding the outside angle for it, but on the other side of it, you can see it's still a continuation. We've got Crystal Luster and Crusaders just going back and forth. The distraction on both of these fights has allowed no real third parties to come into play, but a Freak of Freaks Fatal just gets eliminated, but does a lot of damage over to 4AM.
Yeah, 4AM down to 2 members, but they do pick up 5 kills so far here. So 4AM, once again, doing a nice job getting some kills. Now, there's still 14 teams left, so it's going to be very difficult for them with 2 members left to get into the placement points, but we'll see how that goes.
And look at shoot to kill. They were posted up. They were looking into both of those fights and third partying into both of them. So going to had a little bit of a down onto one of the Crusader members inside of that. 17's kind of separated out across it, but up towards the north, you can see it's Cloud9 and Team Liquid. I know this is going to get Chad a little bit riled up as they're looking back and forth at each other. You got James up on the top part of this hill. Profi way off in the distance, providing a little bit of support. Lobes, the front man, right in the face of Liquid right now. K-Mine's trying to get a grenade up and around. It's not going to quite connect with James as he retreats out and away from it.
Yeah, 2 of our best teams so far today, duking it out there on the northern edge, moving over to 17, who has been very strong today as well. And still, the other members of CLOK have closed in on this and are backing up their teammates here in this fight against the Crusaders. So nice job by the other members of CL to get in their circle going a little bit southeastern, circled around AHQ, who had a nice second place finish this round.
James getting down as he goes for the peek back over onto it. Lobes taking a little bit of damage off the grenades. Team Liquid taking a lot of damage right now. James still just trying to protect him. As on the other side of this angle, it's just Cloud9 coming in from so many different approaches. That's a down on both sides of it. You can see Profi looking back over. Last member stuff and alive for just trying to make his way back over towards that hill. So he does manage to at least use the tree for some form of, I should say cactus for some form of cover. But OP Rangers also has a shot on the other side of it, and Profi narrowly makes it away until Mental Crystal just takes him down. And so with that, Cloud9 is eliminated in 14th place.
Yeah, C9 just surrounded there by Team Liquid, forced out. Profi doing everything he could to dance, dip, duck, dive out of the way, but he runs into their team. 17, though, in a fight with 4AM, and they will wipe them out in 13th place.
They just pushed back down the hillside. Remember, there were only 2 members up and alive for 4 angry men, so just 2 angry men whenever the approach came. Brazilian Crusaders somehow staying alive. So much utility is being used between Brazilian Crusaders and Crystal Luster right now that, like, we've seen grenades, smokes, everything else like that. If they have to move from the spot, I don't think they have anything left to do it with. But we got Armory Gaming taking a couple of shots back over towards Team Liquid. Abisa taking a little bit of damage, so going to go ahead and retreat back over that. But General does go down inside of the exchange, so slowly and steadily making their way towards this new circle.
Yeah, Ibiza just healing up. That's pretty much a dead General there. He might not be able to come back from that. Tong looking to put some members, put some shots up onto Shox here, who's up on the hill. He's got that M24 there. Oh, he fell. Did he get a headshot up there? Are you kidding?
The tire got taken out, I think, and caused it to pop forward. And oh no, you don't want to shoot your teammates. Got to be careful about that, Crystal Luster. Meanwhile, shoot to kill. We talked about it. They have sight lines on everything that's going on right now, and they can just shoot whatever moves next to him. CL still just trying to hold this angle as they get the down onto 2 based off of these pushes. I think it's just one last member up and alive, and yes, it's Raspu for Brazilian Crusaders. He's got to figure out how he's going to handle these angles, as it's going to be long, pushing right up into his face. Raspu gets a little bit of damage off of it, but it's 3 members pushing back over towards Brazilian Crusaders, and there is nowhere for him to go.
Great job by CL there to capitalize on the fact that 17 tried to push into the Crusaders. The Crusaders a little distracted with that push, of course, and so CL capitalizing on that, sending 2 members in. Tong hangs back as the defensive player there, and they do a great job finally wiping the Crusaders out. The Crusaders, props to them, they defended quite a long time in that tough position.
Oh, that's not what you want to see if you're an Inns fan over there. I think that they're hunkered down behind vehicles right on the edge of the circle. A lot of teams looking back over towards them. OP Rangers now looking back over towards Liquid. New circle is about to pop, and where are we going to end up going? I'm waiting with bated breath here, and there we go. We can see it's going to be shoot to kill just barely inside of it. Crystal Luster's going to have to move back over towards their warehouse, but Team Liquid does have a little bit of a hill that they can play. Really, it's OP Rangers, Envy, MP5, the last remaining member. Somehow Ronan managed to survive. Remember, he was way out in the blue. He managed to make his way over here, and we got Inns that's going to have to move. Looks like they might be thinking about going over where shoot to kill is at least trying to figure out where the angles that they might be able to pass from.
Right, Ents here is maybe going to have to push their way through SDK to do this. You know, it's going to be tough for them to do that, though. SDK has a nice little compound up on a hill there. Team Liquid has to throw down some smokes because they did get a knock from the OP Gaming Rangers a few minutes ago, and now they look to be back up to full strength here. 5 kills already for Team Liquid. We're trying to look over that hill to CL. OP Gaming Rangers trying to push forward, trying to find their way into the circle. They're a little bit outside of it now. Envy as well is going to have to face a similar proposition.
Now here's the problem. We have a couple of building complexes right on the edge of the circle. That's where Shoot to Kill and Crystal Luster are at, and that's where everybody is kind of looking. You have to assume that, okay, we know that there are people inside of these specific positions. So Team Liquid's trying to figure out how they want to make the approach, but with this, Envy is just trying to just gun their way right inside the circle, catching a lot of air. Somehow managed to survive through that. Don't flip the vehicles. Nice driving coming out from, I believe, Taro. Meanwhile, Shoot to Kill is just raining grenades back over towards Inns as they're running through, and that's going to connect over with Mika's. Rustin Mar in a lot of trouble, but Envy has nowhere to really look for safety. They're just throwing down a ton of smokes as they have Team Liquid and OP Rangers just gunning for them.
Yeah, OP Rangers have the high ground on top of them. Tamaria getting in his vehicle, trying to rotate into the circle. Mental has gone to the left side, but some grenades possibly coming in here from Team Liquid. No, they're just shooting over onto OP Rangers. In fact, Ibiza gets a knock and a bobble. SDK has wiped out Ents in the meantime.
This is absolutely a huge fight waiting to break out as OP Rangers is slowly making their way over towards the Team Liquid. Meanwhile, Envy is just hanging out right down in the middle of all of this, looking back up towards one angle where they can potentially see OP Rangers, but really there's nowhere for OP Rangers to have any easy positioning coming out. They're just jumping over each individual member, and 2 different teams are just gunning after the Rangers.
Yeah, the Rangers had a really difficult rotation to make here. They're up on top of the hill. Oh, that grenade just bounces over Mental there, doing a hopscotch over him. Mental throwing some smokes, trying to find a way to get into this circle safely. This is so hard for the Rangers. There's so much exposed surface. Samty does get the kill, and the Rangers are eliminated in 7th place.
Team Liquid is just unrelenting on this northwest part of the circle. They're already up to, I believe, 8 kills at the time. Envy keeps hearing what's going on and looking back up the direction like, I don't know if we want to go up there after them right now. MP5 doing a little bit of a push, but at the exact same time, James is coming over here. Is Vener Venerated gonna spot him out. That's the big factor on it. Who gets the sight line on whom first? But we do see Jimpty does get down and near on instantly flushed on this, so that's gonna be now a 3-man squad looking back over at Envy, and that's a lot of firepower sitting over there. New circle is popped. Shoot to kill, and HQ are inside of it, and that's gonna be Venerated hitting a nice shot back over onto James. So with this, we got Abisa and Samty, and now we still have Shoot to Kill looking back over towards Crystal Luster, who has nowhere to go.
Shoot to Kill just hasn't had to move. They've had a lot of teams try to push them out. They've successfully defended. Now they're catching CL in transition here. 2 members of CL going down, one to Ibiza and one to a member of STK. Envy trying to take advantage of this, trying to find a way into this circle. It is starting to close on them. Pat Cap's healing up. They're going to have to make their push here real soon. The blue is coming behind them in the meantime.
So with this, Team Liquid's going to have to do a little bit of a rotation out and around, and it looks like they have decided to make their way back down towards the south where we saw Crystal Luster at. Now they put themselves firmly in the sights of Shoot to Kill. A little bit of damage now making their way over onto Samty as he was looking for some type of crossing point, but there's nowhere to go. Nice shots coming out from Spartan. That's going to go ahead and get the drop onto one of them, but you can see Abisa goes down in exchange as well from Shoot to Kill on the other side of it. Really, you've got the teams that are right along the edge doing such a magnificent job of just defending up right now and not letting anybody move anywhere near them.
Shoot to Kill is a shooting gallery right now. They can absolutely see almost every part of the circle that's left here. They are just ripping teams apart. Envy is doing everything they can to try to find a make a way in. Look at this, 10 kills already here for Shoot to Kill. They are absolutely having the round that they needed. We talked about how they're a strong Miramar team. Now they're showing it. They've taken this excellent position on top of the hill, and they are controlling so much territory with it.
The problem with it is they're pissing off every other team around them, and they are right on the edge of the circle. If this shifts up towards the north away from them, it is going to be hellacious to make that run down, but we see Uncivil hit the shots over towards Samty as Team Liquid is eliminated there. So with this, we've got Venerated right on the edge of the circle, last member up for Envy. We've got Crystal Luster, 1 member up and alive. AHQ smack dab in the middle of the circle, and it's going to be Shoot to Kill looking back that same direction.
And hey, look at this, another top 3 finish here for AHQ most likely. I'm assuming Venerated will be taken out before this happens. I shouldn't say it quite yet, but I think it's pretty safe to say that Venerated won't be around much longer. This circle does a lot of damage. There he goes down. So AHQ has a nice position here. Now the real question is, how much utility does STK have to get into this next circle? Because like you were saying, it is going to be very difficult, and they have pissed a lot of people off.
I mean, AHQ is probably one of the few teams they haven't had to take a lot of shots at. Crystal Luster, I wouldn't be surprised. Sure, he has HQ right over here next to him, but TG probably wants to get a little bit of vengeance back over Shoot to Kill, who was just unrelenting over onto them. But you can see kind of where Shoot to Kill has to move. They've got this big, huge cliff that they kind of have to make their way down through. There is a crate just off to the side of them they might be able to pick up and use for cover as they go. But really, HQ has some great sight lines that they can play around, and it's going to be about Shoot to Kill and how they move through this. And I got to say, Shoot to Kill, we talked about these guys know how to use this map, and good Lord, SR, some nice shots coming over there. Purdy Curry takes a lot of damage. He's actually pushing around the other side of this, found a neat little hill that he can use for cover, now throws down the Bronco, got himself some fortifications. Can the rest of his team make that cross, as now he has to kind of defend up?
Yeah, here they go. They're making that transition right now. No members of AHQ really seem to have a shot onto that. So SDK safely able to make it with a nice little rotation to the eastern edge here and find a little hill, find a little plateau to be up on where you're safe, because, you know, these other teams that are below you can't see up there.
We talk about find it, but let's be honest. We said Shoot to Kill is so good on this map. Look at how they've positioned their vehicles. They've still kept them safe based off that other side. This hill kind of comes up on the other side of AHQ, so they don't have good sight lines on it. They now have an approach over to AHQ if they decide that they want to push. They have vehicles that are still stored and safe. They have a position that they can play to get sight lines on other teams. This is really, really strong.
Yeah, I really like what STK has done here. This is a really smart rotation, and they're already kind of maybe thinking about trying to find a way to get in onto AHQ, already trying to soften them up. A grenade came in, did some damage to SR there. He's going to be able to heal up, but they're looking to kind of fan out to kind of suffocate AHQ if they can. Now, the real question is going to be, what is Tong going to do here? He's the wild card here. If he comes in and plays spoiler, grenade. Oh my goodness.
That was so good. It got a ton of damage onto K3. That was just a blind grenade, assuming that maybe somebody might be playing around that location, managed to connect with it. So you can see, trying to vie for center control at this point. We've got Shoot to Kill already using a lot of their utility.
Yep, they're throwing down some smokes, trying to make sure that they can control the center of this map where the star has appeared, you know, right in there. So they are trying to do the best they can to maneuver around to prevent CL and AHQ from getting in here. AHQ trying to prevent CL from coming in as well. So Tong is in a very difficult spot. He will get taken down by Adam. They will go down in third place. Does Crystal Luster. So it's a 3v4 AHQ versus STK.
All right, we've got Shoot to Kill at 13 kills right now and just unloading grenade upon grenade on AHQ. Every single time they try to go for a reposition, it feels like there is a grenade just sitting and waiting for him. HQ now knows that they need to creep forward, but there is nowhere to go as Shoot to Kill is just unrelenting at the time. 2 members down, there's just 1 guy up for AHQ, and there is nowhere for him to go as Shoot to Kill just death grips that round and walks away with 16 kills. Good Lord.
Your NA boys are bringing it. They had a fantastic round. Did so well to take that compound and defend it for so